Hey everyone, this is GLP-1 week 3 updates, weight fluctuations, constipation, and staying patient. Did you hear the rhyme? Fluctuation and constipation. It's awesome. Hi everyone, this is Kenya. If you're new to my channel, if you are new, I would love for you to become a subscriber. Hit subscribe. If you are returning, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're back. Make sure you are hitting the bell so that whenever I release this, you get notified because I have newsletters that I do in a community and I have email lists and but I'm not really, the moment I release this, I don't put it necessarily out on an email for people. So I guess I should probably create a GLP-1 update email list if you are wanting to receive an email notification when I send this out, or maybe a newsletter where I maybe talk behind the scenes. I don't know. My plate is always already full. But what I do want to talk to you today in our 20 minutes or less time is I'm reporting on week 3. Tomorrow, I take my 4th shot. Tomorrow, if you're wondering what does that mean, because there's no telling when you're watching this. Today is the 21st, so the 22nd. Okay, the 22nd is when I'll take my 4th shot, which means I'm approaching a month. What? Come on now. Who, how? But week 3 has been overall good, but it's exactly what the title says. So I want to dig into this a little bit. Again, if you're new, you've never watched, I'm Kenya. I do a myriad of things, but I very rarely, if ever, talk about weight loss in live time, although I have gone through a lot of iterations of weight loss. With a mixture of perimenopause and life and society and just all the things. Being a woman, I don't think women's health at all is talked about. I'll bring this a little bit more to the degree at all. Not like we're just starting to scratch the surface. And so I decided to get on the GLP-1 because I was tired of being tired. And as I've learned more and more, I realized, oh, I have obesity. It's still weird for me to say disease. Like, I don't love saying that. And that a lot of that is just because of how I believe in mind, body, soul, and how our body is reflecting something much bigger than just what our medical records say. There's so much more happening. So I sometimes struggle. But at any rate, it's an issue that I've had my whole life. And yes, definitely the past, I would say really past decade, I've just found it a lot more difficult to manage my weight. And then I hit my peak weight, which, if you watch some of my other videos, I go into great depth of what that was. But just for reference, my peak weight was 238 in April of 2025. I've never seen my weight be that high before. So I'm 5'8". I can play some of that weight off, but not. So now I'm on a journey. And so I am doing this weekly update. I will say this week, so I'm steadily coming down. I had lost, I guess, about, I don't know, 6.5 pounds from that 238, or 7.5. I'm sorry. I don't know. What is it? Yeah. I was 231.4 when I took my first shot. And so each week I've been losing a bit. This week I technically am down. When I weighed this morning, I was 226.6. But what's interesting is when I weighed 2 days ago, it was 225.2. Now, my body does this, okay? And everybody's body does this. It fluctuates, hence the name of this. And I want to talk about fluctuation because I wonder if we don't think that happens during a GLP-1, journey, that it should just be a steady down. But I think probably everyone who talks to you says that they have experienced fluctuation at some point. I know that the whole net of it all is there was still a loss because I was at 227 when I did my video last week. And so, like I said, 2 days ago, the scale went down to 225.2. And I thought that was a lot because I was like, what? That seems like, I haven't really done anything much different. So I wasn't terribly surprised that it kind of did a little bit of a rebound. And it probably will rebound a little bit down again. So, but this is the point, fluctuation. Patience is all the poop out, constipation. It's all related, y'all. It's all related. So all I know is technically, I am down almost 5 pounds since starting this 3 weeks ago. And I feel good about that. I'm very close to, I'm just point two. Remember, y'all, I told y'all about that point two. Point two seems to be my thing. My body is point two, always holding on point two. But I'm about point 0.2 pounds away, I believe, from if I'm saying that right, from having a full 5 pound loss. So I'm very close. And my goal was 3 to 5 pounds a month, and I haven't hit quite the month. So patience is a virtue. Even though I'm seeing that scale, again, the point of it all is to look at, okay, what's overall happening? And so overall, there was a loss, and that is my goal each week. If I could just see a little bit of loss, yes, I'd love to see that full pound. I was real happy a couple of days ago. I was like, oh, I'm 225 points. And then I got on the scale today, and I was like, what? But that's okay. It's not, like I said, it's fine. Which leads me to constipation. It may be, and I took that weight before I pooped. Listen. So, okay, so let's shift over to the constipation. So the fluctuation, it's normal. Those of you who are thinking about a GLP-1, understand that your weight still probably will fluctuate. You probably will still, most likely, yes, have more loss than not, but there will be weeks when there's fluctuation, especially as women, because of the way fluid in our bodies. And I am very close to menopause, but still hormones exist. And so the body is also, I'm working out very consistently, which I'm really loving. I'm really loving my workout life again. I missed it. I'm one of those weird birds. I enjoy working out. It makes me feel grounded. It makes me feel connected. I can really get into my music. So, because it's just my headphones cancels the noise around me, and I feel strong. And I'm now beginning to just feel like Kenya. I'm like, I remember that chick. It had gotten to the point, and I promise I am gonna go to constipation, but it had gotten to the point where I would look at pictures, like past pictures, and I'd be like, "Where is she? Where did she go?" And, I was probably in my most fit, I don't know, space when I was doing music full time, and that was, listen, because you have to stare at yourself 3,000 times because of photo shoots and video shoots and all of that. And I don't know if my mindset was the healthiest, honestly, at that point, but I definitely was working out and I just enjoyed how my body felt. And so when I look at those pictures, I'm not sad or anything, but I just have been like, where'd she go? Like, where'd she go? And so a part of me has been like, oh, is it because of the music? Should I be doing music to get her back? But these past 3 weeks, of really committing to my wellness and committing to my routines and my habits, it's like, "Oh, no, I'm starting to feel her again." And, for that, I'm so grateful. This is probably the most normal I have felt in my body in the past few years. So I think the GLP-1 absolutely is helping with that, and I'm also doing some hormone replacement therapy, and I think that combination along with my dedication for the workouts and for I'm still doing my ingredient prep, which I will do an episode in the future to kind of really explain how that looks because I think it's a game changer and it's a strong competitor to meal prep. I don't know if I'll ever meal prep again. Ingredient prep, where you just are prepping ingredients, so much better for me. So much better for me. Um, but yeah, so constipation. So this was one of the things that I was I, I wasn't say concerned, but just apprehensive because I have always struggled with constipation. Now, I am learning the metaphysical reasons for this. It makes complete sense based on my life in childhood and this holding stuff and not releasing and all the things. But me and constipation have been acquaintances for some time. So I was very concerned about that because it's a very common side effect of the GLP-1, and that's mainly because it's slowing down the motility of your digestive system. So the poop is sitting there a little bit longer. And then if you're taking in more protein, not enough fiber, the water, like it's just a common thing that happens. So that is the only side effect I've really had. And it hasn't been like I know my body really, really well when it comes to this whole constipation life. I know it real well. So I have these little tricks and trades that I do. And so for me, and again, I am not your doctor, I am not your nutritionist, I am not your gut health person. But for me, what I have found that's been super helpful, I do take Colace, which is a stool softener. So I have a bunch of supplements that I take, and I think that's another thing that I'm going to do an episode on because I have always taken supplements for many, many years since I found out I was anemic, and I found out I had an anemic spell. I'm not anemic now, but I had an anemic moment in 2017, quite severe. I thought I was having a heart attack. Like I was like something's very wrong. Come to find out I was anemic. And it was at that point, 2017, where I really started studying my body much more intensely. And so I started on a whole supplement regime. And one of the things I had to do because of the anemia, and the anemia for me was coming because I was having significant fibroids. And so at that point, the fibroids were very active. And so fibroids, in order to live and grow, they pull blood. And so a lot of times when women, especially in that perimenopausal or right before perimenopause, 30s, can have significant fibroids, especially depending on what's going on, the history of the body, what's our tissues hold our issues, a lot of stuff. That's another uh, time for a video. But anyway, I realized I was anemic. Then I went deeper to find out, okay, well, what do I need to do to support my body? Had to get on iron. I was taking iron supplemental pills. They helped tremendously. That was all I had to do. I didn't have to do infusions and things like that. But iron can definitely make you constipated. And so I was like, Lord. So I would have to take either an iron that had stool softener already compounded in it, or take Colace or stool softener with it. So I'm kind of used to that. But because the anemia really kind of resolved itself, I don't have to take the iron anymore. But I'm back to the stool softener, back to that. So that helps, taking a little Colace each day. I do eat prunes. I have a probiotic prune that I eat. I have usually 2 prunes in the morning, 1 prune midday. Sometimes I'll do an extra prune in the early evening, late afternoon, and then I do a prune before I go to bed. It helps the sister out. It's my fiber, it's my probiotic because I get a prune that has a probiotic on it. And I think it's just helping my digestive system. So I do that to help with the poop. Obviously, I'm looking at my fiber intake when I'm eating. My physical therapist, pelvic floor physical therapist, told me to add just a little bit more of my avocado oils, my good oils, good fats to help lubricate the digestive tract a bit. I thought, you know what? That was a new one for me. So I naturally cook with olive oil or with avocado oil. I naturally add avocados a bit to my salads, and I try to get a salad in daily at some point. So that was there, but I also have just been adding a little bit more avocado oil in my life. Now, this may sound gross, what I'm about to say, but I think it's helping me. When I make my coffee, and I just started drinking coffee. Y'all, I've never been a coffee drinker. Never. My husband is a coffee drinker, and so I smell the coffee all the time. And I think coffee smells so good. And often say, I want to be able to just drink a cup, just a cup. And so I have found a nice little coffee moment. I found a little coffee moment. So what I do is I do take one little cup. It's not even a full cup. It's probably a half a cup of coffee. I add a little bit of oat cream to it. It's a little bit of sweetened oat cream. That's it. I don't add any other sweeteners. And now I've been adding just a touch of avocado oil. Just a touch. Now, I know it looks like oily coffee, and that probably sounds disgusting. But I think because my poop feels better. Now, if I did have a moment where it was just like, oh boy. So I did take some Miralax, which is just the powdered, and it's like a stool softener, but it's a little more intense, just to get me over the edge because I could feel it, and I didn't want to go push and strain and all the things, y'all, that go along with constipation, which is a lot, and then you get um, hemorrhoids, and I just don't want all of that to get activated. So I was able to course correct, and I am managing. But constipation is something, like I said, I don't, I, I don't know. GLP-1 is assisting that in me, but it is something that I've had to manage for a while. So that's not completely new for me. Um, and then the last thing, patience. So, you know, I think that with this whole GLP-1 thing, and because I'm on a GLP-1, so I'm just looking at it more, and so I feel like it's everywhere. But I know that this feeling is that, oh, you just get on the GLP-1, it's gonna make you lose your appetite a bit, so you'll eat less, and then maybe you should kinda get your exercise in a bit more, and then boom, you gotta lose 100 pounds like everybody else. And I know intellectually that's ridiculous to think that every person, like every human is different, right? I know this. But I have really had to push my patient alarm. And this is interesting because it's not just with this. I would say I am an impatient person. I would say that I have impatient tendencies for sure. That is my Sagittarius Mercury. Because I'm gonna put astrology in here. I got my Sag in my sixth house of daily life, and Sag is fire, squirrel brain. I call it that. So I'm I'm not as patient as I would like to be. And so as I've been watching kind of things happen, and good, the scale is, I think, right on track for what I had told myself. But I told because I met with my nurse practitioner this week, seeing how everything is going, first few weeks of things, very positive, because I had told myself, as long as you are losing, Kenya, there's no need to up this medication because the body, is responding. Now, if you stop losing, or if something else, if you start getting a lot of food noise, or just some starts to shift, these are your cues that you can ask for the increase of the dose since I'm microdosing. And so I'm technically still losing, right? But when I saw that scale do that fluctuation piece, I emailed her back. I said, "Oh no, we got to increase the drug, girl. It's time." Because we're ready technically for when I start my second month, which is coming up after next week. It's time. We can go ahead and go to the regular low, because I'm half of the lowest. If you haven't been watching my videos, go back and watch another video. I talk about that. But so I went back and said, no, 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 we got to increase it. And then I was like, girl, you come on. You have this 1 week where you saw the scale do a little teeter tatter, but overall, still there's a loss. And just because it's a half a pound, I mean, yes, I'm probably going to be ready to increase to that 2.5, which is the typical starting for trizepatide, which is what I'm on. But don't freak out. Be patient. And What's nice is, and what I've noticed, and I'll begin to wrap up with this, I am not having a lot of the whole appetite suppression yet. I just don't think my dosage is at a level to do that. But I'm also not having a bunch of cravings. So that's really good. And I also just feel calmer. Now, GLP-1s, while the gut health is impacted, understand that the gut and the brain, the gut is the second brain, but the brain obviously is communicating to everything. And by far, I never labeled myself as having anxiety or anxious, but racing thoughts and, all of that was getting louder and louder and louder recently. And really, I would say the GLP-1 has definitely, I feel like I just have just a little bit of a chill pill. So it's not freaking me out. So when I had that moment of, I need to increase that dose, I was able to say, Kenya, wait a minute. Let's think about this. You are in still a deficit. You feel good. You're managing the side effect, which will probably become maybe more a side effect potentially if you increase this too early. Why are you rushing? What is that about? And I was like, oh, oh, you're right, Kenya. What am I rushing for? I'm meeting the goals I said I was trying to meet. What you doing? So I emailed her back. I said, yeah, yeah, girl, to the nurse practitioner. Girl, ignore me. My patience. I'm learning patience. I'm learning patience. Let me just do what I said I was going to do and wait. So, yeah, definitely staying patient. And even though GLP-1, I think, is representing weight loss and can make us feel like it should happen fast, um, no, maybe. But so it really made me think about patience in my life in general, because like I said, I tend to not be patient. And my oldest son and my youngest son, I was doing a FaceTime with them last night, and then I'll wrap up. And my oldest son is very wise. So is my youngest. They're both very wise souls. They've been here. I feel their souls have been here many times. And I'm sure that our souls have been in relationship before. But they help calm me a lot because they're one, as I just have learned raising boys and being a woman, it is different. They are different. Their brains work, they're different. They're just different. And so they're just wired different. And so we were talking about a situation my oldest son is navigating. And I was thinking that he was, because he's very heated when he was talking about it. And I thought he was upset. And so here I am. Well, let's try this and do this. And, maybe you need to do this now. And he was just like, Mom, just be patient. I'm going to be patient about this. Yeah, this sucks. And I'm venting. This makes me angry and blah. But I'm going to stay patient. And I was like, oh, because if I were going through the situation he's going through right now, man, that little scarcity mindset of mine, she would get activated. Fix it now. Go. Be fast. Get over there. Go this way. Like that is. And when I heard him say, hey, and then my youngest son, yeah, Mom, like you just gotta, you just gotta chill. And my youngest is real chill. He never gets above here. So he's just like, oh, and I was like, you're right. You can have emotion and be upset and be frustrated and be like, ugh, and not immediately rush to fix it. Just sit with the disappointment, but stay steady. That's that Aquarius child of mine, Gemini child of mine, both air signs. Air is thinking. Here I am, Scorpio, water. Emotions intense. So that it made me so when I was seeing myself, I'm like, "Oh, you need to work on the patience." So, I'm not gonna increase the dosage. I'm gonna keep the dosage the same as long like I had told myself originally, which was, if you start to plateau or some other things pop up, then you can look at increasing it. So, that is my week 3 update, constipation, weight fluctuations, and more patience, staying patient. So I'm going to stay patient. So again, if you've liked this video, please, well, no matter like the video, comment, tell me your thoughts. What resonated for you? What questions are you having? Are you thinking about, are you contemplating a GLP-1? I'd love to hear your comments. Everyone, somebody has commented every week or sent me a message privately, and I appreciate it. Please continue to do that. I will think through whether or not I'll do an email list or something to have more conversations around this. It's, my plate is full, so I got to just really make sure I'm being patient. But I'm enjoying talking about this. It's helpful. It's extremely helpful for me. And I hope it is helpful for you and that you are feeling a little more connected to yourself, to your experience, to my story, whatever that is. I just appreciate you tuning in. And we'll continue. We'll see how the next week 4, goes. All right, you guys have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.